welcome to Alpha Militaria TV. Thanks very much for tuning in once again. My name is Richard Saunders. Now, I want to say a big thank you once again to everyone who's helped us out by subscribing to the channel. We genuinely do appreciate it. Thank you very much. And if you found us for the first time, perhaps you might want to consider hitting that subscribe button as well. And you can support the channel in another couple of ways. Down below, you'll find some links to our newly launched shop and also some links to some products on Amazon that I use on a regular basis. Now then, we're continuing our look at MTC optics products in this video, specifically a couple of their zero eye relief scopes. Now MTC has 4 different zero eye relief scopes and we're looking at 2 of them today. They have the SWAT range. SWAT stands for Super Wide Angle Technology, and this is one of them. And they have a couple of products in their Viper Connect series as well, and we'll look at those another day. Now, of the SWAT scopes, there are 2 models. There's this one, which is the 10x30, which is also known as the Atom. And then there is this one, the slightly larger one, which is the 12x50. And we're going to look at both of these. The 12x50 doesn't have a fancy name. It's just called the 12x50. Now, zero eye relief refers to the fact that you can put your eye right up against the end of the scope here. Now, conventional scopes require you to have a gap of sort of 3.5 inches between the end of the scope and your eye, and that's because they were developed for recoiling rifles. And obviously, with a recoiling rifle, if you have your eye right up against the end of the scope, as it comes back, it's going to hit you in the eye, give you a black eye. Now, because PCP rifles don't have any recoil or nothing really to talk about, you can put your eye right up against the end of the scope. Now, that means that they're fine for PCP rifles. You can't use these really with spring-powered rifles, because they do have a bit of recoil that will hit you in the eye. But you can use them on non-recoiling or low-recoil rimfire rifles, like a 2.2 LR, for example. Now, I'd love to be able to show you some footage on a scope cam through the actual scope. I really would love to do that, but I just can't, unfortunately. I just don't have the camera equipment or the capability to do that. And I know people are going to shout at me and tell me off and write nasty comments in the comments box below, because that's what you really want to see, and that's what I really want to show you as well. But it's just beyond my technical expertise, I'm afraid. So you'll have to take my word for it that the image is very clear, very crisp, great color as well, no distortion. But I just can't show that to you in real life, sorry. So right then, let's talk about these, and we're going to show you these, the features in closer up detail, but I'm going to talk through this one first of all. It's the 10x30 Atom. It's got fixed magnification. Both the SWAT scopes have got fixed magnification. This is a 10 times, and both of them are ideal for hunting. They really are great little scopes for hunting because they're short, they're compact, and yet they perform really well. That said, you can also use them for HFT shooting. That isn't a problem. And of course, you can use them down the range. You can use them for informal target shooting. You can use them in the garden for plinking as well. But hunting is really where they're at. Now, in terms of price, the Atom is on sale in our shop for £370, the 10x30. And then the larger scope, the 12x50, is on sale in the store for £490. So let's talk about the Atom to start with then. So tiny, 123 millimeters long, and only weighs 300 grams. Now, to give you an idea, SWAT's zero eye relief scopes tend to be a bit shorter anyway, but these are short even for zero eye relief scopes. The Viper Connect scopes, the other MTC zero eye relief scopes, are about 600 grams, so twice as heavy as this, and even they are quite light scopes. So these are really tiny. As I said before, fixed magnification 10 times. You've got a 30mm objective lens. You've got a 34mm tube, so a really big tube on them, sucks in lots of light. And the real benefit of a zero eye relief scope is that it enables you, as I say, to get your eye really close to it, and that really opens out the field of view. Now, field of view is the term that's used to describe the image that you see through the scope, the landscape, if you like. And at 100 meters, looking through the scope, you will be able to see just over 10 meters of landscape, about 32 feet. Now that's about 3 times as much as you would see through a conventional scope on 10 times magnification. So it really is a very panoramic view. The scope will parallax down to just 6 meters via a dial on the side here, and we'll show you that in a little while. Now parallax does all sorts of great things, but to all intents and purposes, the main benefit is it enables you to focus your target at different distances just by turning this wheel on the side. As I say, you can, by parallaxing down to just 6 meters, you can target, you can focus on targets that are very, very close to you. The turrets are a lift to adjust and push down to lock kind of turret. Doesn't require any tools, no key or coin or anything to unscrew or anything like that. Just literally pull the cap up, make your adjustment, and then push the turret down again to lock it so that it doesn't move. And that's the same for the elevation turret and also for the windage turret as well. Now, when you make those adjustments, each individual click on the dial on the turret equates to an adjustment of 1 centimeter at 100 meters for your point of impact. So one click will adjust your point of impact by just 1 centimeter. So that means obviously at 50 meters, your point of impact will be adjusted by half a centimeter per click, and at 25 meters, your point of impact will be adjusted by 0.25, quarter of a centimeter. Now that means, let's say you go down the range, you put a target up to zero your rifle at 25 meters and you're sort of 4 inches up, 4 inches right, and you need to bring that down and across. Every single click that you make on the elevation turret and on the windage turret will bring your point of impact in by quarter of a centimeter at 25 meters. Now the reticle is a simplified AMD reticle. Very, very clear reticle. I like the fact it's got nice thick lines on it. It's not cluttered at all, but there are plenty of aim points in half mil dot and mil dots. So it's really a very nice reticle. And via a push button control on the side here, you can illuminate the reticle. The whole reticle illuminates, and by pushing the button repeatedly, you can scroll through 10 different levels of adjustment. Now, normally there is a rubber cup that goes on the back of the scope here, an eye cup. Now I've taken that off to show you a diopter adjustment dial in the back here, and by twisting that, it enables you to bring the actual crosshairs into focus nice and clearly as well. So that's the 10 by 30. Let's do a little bit of gun juggling here and show you the 12 by 50. So as you might imagine, the 12 by 50 is a little bit larger. It is 156 millimeters long and it weighs 460 grams. So it's about half as heavy again as the Atom, but still very light and very compact. It has a 50mm objective lens and has a 42mm tube, so it really is a very thick tube. Field of view, about the same as the 10 by 30, around about 10 meters field of view at 100 meters, which is about 3 times what you would get from a conventional 12 times magnification scope. Like the other scope, it parallaxes down to 6 meters again via a side wheel, and there is a 10 level brightness level parallax wheel on the side as well, which is a push button like the other scope. And again, you've got the same lift to adjust and click down to lock turrets, and with one click equaling 1 centimeter of adjustment at 100 meters. And on this, you actually have an Scb2 reticle, which is the reticle that most MTC scopes use. Again, has lots of aim points on it, nice thick lines, very easy to see, and as I said before, you have that 10 levels of brightness. Now, the combination of big objective lens, big tubes, really, really good quality lenses, good quality coatings on those lenses, and the fact that all of these scopes are nitrogen purged to eliminate any kinds of issues with fogging up really makes these great scopes to use in low light conditions. In daylight, the image is really, really crisp, very, very bright. Again, I wish I could show that to you via scope cam, but I just can't do that. But really, really crisp in daylight. And then when the light starts to fade, when it starts to get a little bit murky, that last hour or so before sundown, that combination of features really sucks the light in, transfers it to your eye, and enables you to keep on shooting in low light conditions. And then when it gets really, really murky, you can use the illuminated reticle. Now, we should talk about mounts, because the mounts are somewhat unique to these scopes because of their size and the shape of them. Each scope comes with its own purpose-made mount, this ring up here, and then you get 3 different rail attachments down here, and each one, they're 3 different lengths to accommodate different rifles, and it comprises of a lower part of the rail down here and an upper part of the rail up here, and you can attach the lower part to the top part via a couple of screws. Now, you might be able to see down here that there's like an inbuilt tilt built into the scope, into the rail, and that by slackening off that screw, you can move this upper part of the rail up and down the lower part to take advantage of that tilt, and that gives you a little bit more flexibility in terms of elevation, which is a really nice feature. Now then, I should also say that the mounts are pretty much optimized for use on Picatinny rails. They really snap onto Picatinny rails very, very nicely. But you do get a couple of these dovetail adapters as well as part of the box when you get the scope. And they sort of fit underneath the rail and then enable you to adapt the Picatinny mount to fit onto a dovetail rail, which is really good. Now then, these scopes are excellent for use on bullpups and tactical rifles. They really, really are. Just the size of them means that they sit really well with a bullpup kind of rifle. They're nice and short, so they don't make a bullpup look sort of all scope, and yet they have great performance as well. And they also work very well on tactical rifles too. Now, there's no reason why you can't use them on traditional sporter rifles. Of course you can, but you just need to make sure that because of the mounting system, because of the dimensions of the scope, because of the zero eye relief feature, you want to make sure that if you're going to put one of these onto a traditional sporter stock, everything's going to go together and fit really comfortably for you. No reason why it shouldn't, but just make sure that if you're going to put one of these on a sporter rifle, everything fits together perfectly for you, because you don't want to make a mistake. So I think that's everything on the scope. You get a magnetic screw-on lens cover, which is really, really good. You get, as I say, a rubber cup. Now the rubber cup has a rear lens cover as well, and it's kind of tethered in as part of the rubber cup. Now, I must admit, I pull the rubber cups off because I shoot with glasses, and I find that the rubber cup tends to make my glasses fog up, which makes it still perfectly usable without the rubber cup, but it does mean that you forego that tethered lens cap, so it just becomes a removable lens cap. Fixed magnification isn't to everyone's taste. You've got 12 times on this, 10 times on the smaller scope. Some people just feel that they have to have variable magnification. In all honesty, 10 times and 12 times covers certainly most of your hunting requirements in my experience. And even on my variable magnification scopes, I tend to use them at 10 or 12 times anyway. And that's plenty as far as I'm concerned. So I think that's everything. As I say, sorry I can't show you scope cam footage, but hopefully that gives you a really good overview of the 2 SWAT scopes. Well, there you go. That's our quick rundown on the 2 MTC Optics SWAT Prismatic scopes, the 10x30 Atom and the 12x50. Really great little scopes. Their performance belies their tiny size, and they're really great on bullpups and tactical rifles. Anyway, hope you found that useful. If you did, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel as well, because as I said, it really does help us out. And don't forget to click on those store links as well. And if you'd like more information on a whole range of airgunning topics, check out our website, which is www.alphamilitaria.com. Thanks for watching.